What's going on, bourbon drinkers? So, in case you didn't notice, if you haven't checked the channel out in a while, I changed my name, changed my handle. Still probably can be searched through Wine Dine Me, Bourbon and Rhyme. However, that's a whole lot of letters to try to type into YouTube when you're searching for something. So, listen to your feedback. A lot of you guys said, man, I can't find you on YouTube, can't find you on TikTok, what's your handle? Trying to rattle off all those letters with no spaces or underscores or anything like that proved to be pretty problematic. A lot of people couldn't find it, so we are now Cask Me Anything. At Cask Me Anything. Kind of corny, don't care. I filmed some footage earlier this week when I was off. It turned out really crappy. So the bourbon that I tried in that video was brand new Shortbarrel, the Sapsquatch. It's shown up all over the place in San Antonio. I'm sure it's in other places as well. I'm sure it's in your neck of the woods. It won't be a fresh crack because I broke it from those other videos. However, I think they were garbage and I'm not going to include them. But what I am going to do is try this sucker tonight and give it a taste. See if we can get a good one. I'll take it. So, since this one's already been cracked, I'm not going to do my regular 15 minutes of standby time. I'm just going to dive straight into it and see if I can give you all some instant feedback. Not a whole lot of ethanol on this, guys. If you've already tried this, I'd like to hear your thoughts. So comment, like, share, whatever you need to do. Hit me up, private message if for friends on one of the bourbon groups in Facebook, Messenger, don't care. I just kind of want to hear other feedback. The whole point of being part of the bourbon community is to share thoughts, share bottles, and get some good feedback. So you can figure out what your palate is, my palate is, etc. Let's give it a try. Damn, that is just as good as when I tasted it the other night. My thoughts on this. Let's see. Well, for being this higher proof, which this is 108.6, so this is less than your Havana Specs Short Pick. I think that was 111 and change, and also lower than 13th Colony. And I guess since this is maple syrup barrels as opposed to maple wood spirals, they're not going to taste. You know, they may be complementary, but they're not going to taste similar. To me, this tastes like a slightly less hot version of the Havana Specs Pick. Man, that's damn good. I'm impressed. Very mapley on the tongue, obviously, but the toast doesn't hit me until the aftertaste. You get that little bit of burn, but this is full of flavor. Man, the toast on this reminds me of Michter's Toasted Barrel, not the sour mash, but the toasted bourbon. That extra little pop, you can really taste it. It really comes across. Not sweet. This is not a Havana sweet. This is much more balanced and well-rounded in my opinion. Probably my favorite short barrel I've tried to date. But you know, if you guys have watched anything or heard any feedback I've got on a lot of these bottles, I like my bourbon with a little bit of sweet, which is, you know, probably not unfamiliar. You know, the Sazerac, Wheated, sweet. You know, everybody seems to like those. With me, it's not so much kitschy as it just is good. So, man, that's awesome. That's definitely crushable. Be careful of that one. Definitely worth the $75 to $85. Hell, for this, I might even pay as much as, you know, $95, but I wouldn't go above that. So if you see any on secondary that are higher than that, reach out to me and I'll help you find something local that's in myself. But this is a hitter all day in myself. I'm gonna do a little creative editing. We're gonna come back and we're gonna try one more. Whew. Well, I'm back. Sorry, I almost got ahead of myself. I ripped the plastic seal off, but I did not yet break the seal on this one. So this is another one that I've been very excited to try. I know there's a couple different variants of this. This is the Green River Full-Proof Wheated Bourbon. Proof on this one is 109.3. There are some store picks that I believe they're single barrels. They're not. I don't know if they're considered full proof when they're single barrel or not. But this is the first. This was the first. Actually, the first one I laid eyes on. Full proof wheated bourbon. Found it at a small mom and pop down in Kennedy, Texas. A store that's turning out to be pretty reliable and pretty awesome in terms of what they have to offer. They don't have big quantities, but they do get some hitters. In fact, there's another one I picked up tonight that I will feature in another little video. Old Granddad Single Barrel 114. Tune in later this week for that one. That's going to be another good one. I have a really good feeling about that bottle. But tonight, we're going to fresh crack Green River full proof weeded bourbon. Sorry you missed the plastic, but I don't think you missed out on much. Let's see what we got here. Oh, well, not the. I kind of suck at the cork pop, so I'll have to work on that. Maybe I need a more solid foundation. All right, so little small pour. Let's see how she does. Man, there is no ethanol in that. I get some fruit. I get some fruit on this, which is kind of odd. I don't know. Some of the other Green Rivers I've tried have been very high fruit. I say high fruit, 121 and above. So this is probably honestly the lowest fruit Green River that I've had. Wow. Oh, right off the bat, you can taste those fruits. You get kind of almost a candy, almost toffee flavor with this. This is like, man, this is almost kind of butterscotchy in terms of the initial flavor. Doesn't drink 109 proof at all. But then again, I just did try that Sapsquatch a little bit ago, so maybe my taste buds are still. Nope. Second flavor, second taste is just as good. Very well-rounded drink, man. This is another. Good Lord, this is another crushable bottle. I'm trying to let that just kind of marinate in my mouth and get the full effect. That's really good. Yeah, this unfortunately to me, I feel like would be more of a hangover than drinking that Sapsquatch. The Sapsquatch had a very good maple flavor, but wasn't terribly sweet. To me, this tastes like straight candy and toffee. Little, butterscotch undertones. That Werther's original kind of flavor on your tongue when you let it sit there. This one I'd like to try with a little splash of water to see if maybe it'll cut it down. But I guarantee if you did that to this bottle right here, you would probably have a cross between a Weller Full Proof and a Weller Special Reserve. Yeah, but being in that kind of company, this is great. I probably overpaid a little bit for this. I think this was $55. But for the first time I'd ever seen a full proof weeded bourbon from Green River, I was willing to splurge. Let me know in the comments what you paid for this. If you picked one of these up, since I didn't get this at a big box, there might be some savings on that, but that's fine. I like patronizing my small mom and pops just as much as I will patronize a big box. So no, great all around. If you're able to find this one, or you're able to find this Sapsquatch, yeah, this is a hit and a hit. I don't know if I've videoed me drinking anything that I don't like, which I don't know if that says that I just have a very adaptable palate, or maybe I'm just too easy to please. Either way, this is Eric Stein. You're watching Cask Me Anything. So hit me up, comments, questions, bottles you want to see in the next video. I'd love to do something custom tailored, and as I'm approaching the 400 mark on bottles, and not a lot of those are duplicates, chances are I've got something that you guys want to see that you'd like to sample, and I'll give you my feedback. Until then, drink responsibly, drink often. Talk to you later, guys.